Ford GT40. Possibly the most iconic race car ever. And I'm going to retell the entire story of it now for the purposes of this video. You know, it's the type of thing I do. So, 1962. Ford is set to buy Ferrari, but at the last minute, the Italians turn their nose up. They don't want Ford owning them. Which annoys Henry Ford II. So, he tells his engineers to go and build a car that will beat Ferrari at Le Mans. And, it doesn't. The GT... Well, it was originally known as the GT, but the public ended up calling it the GT40, and the name stuck. But the GT40, well, proved to be hopelessly unreliable. Each year they tested it, kept on refining it, until 1966. Ford finally got their team of GT40s to be reliable and beat the Italians. And just to rub it in their faces, they all drove across the line at the same time. I felt like that was a bit harsh, but also very funny. And this is all immortalised in the Mans 66. Now that was the GT40 Mark 1. This one right here is a Mark 2. And they made generations of GT40 up until the Mark 4, which ended up killing one of their best drivers, Ken Miles. Very sad, but it was also lethally quick. I feel bad for saying lethally quick now. Okay, now that we've got the obligatory, here's what happened to make the GT40 thing story. I just want you all to take note of something. Ken Miles. He was a Brit. Now, this was an American V8, and it was made not in America. It was made by Brits, and in the UK. Explains why it turned so well. Anyway, it continued beating Ferrari up until 1969, where I ended up getting beaten by Porsche in the 917 Kurtex and Langhex. Maybe I can speak German. Ford tried to revive the GT40 over the years. There was the GT70, which was It was like the Capri. It was basically what the Capri is to the Mustang. Smaller, lighter, cheaper, frugaler. Not as appealing to Americans. I kind of like that, but I prefer the Capri over the Mustang. But I prefer the GT40 over the GT70. I think the GT70 actually ended up becoming a rally car. Or maybe I've just been watching too much AR12. There was also the GT90, which was absolutely horrendous. Very slow, looked weird, just wasn't a GT40. So Ford decided the best way to resurrect the GT40 was to make the GT40. Yep, back in 2001, Ford announced the GT40 concept car, and was put into production as the GT in 2004. Clarkson had one, which was very reliable. No, it wasn't. Yeah, it was actually kind of rubbish. I've reviewed the dealership Tycoon GT 2005, 4, whatever, on the channel. And now I'm reviewing the GT40. Oh, and there's also the 2017 GT. And the GT Mark II. Yeah, there's lots of different variations of the GT and the GT40 and whatever. But this one's probably the sweet spot, the GT40 Mark II. More refined than the Mark 1. I think it won in 67 and 68. This one certainly feels like a sweet spot. It's very quick. Not too quick at the top end, but either way, just look at the speed. Ready? Noom. Why the fuck did I just say that? It goes like an American car. Those things are quick in a straight line. And you can definitely feel how fast it is in a straight line. But that's not really part of the GT40's appeal. Yes, Le Mans does have a big... I can't remember how long the Mulsanne straight is. But very long. It was also good in the corners of the GT40, so why don't we test that? We've tested the American part, now let's test the British part. Here we go, here are the corners. It's so easy to drive. You can just kiss the apex, it doesn't require too much focus. My phone has a mind of its own right now. Look, come on. You're just going very quickly. And then everywhere there's a corner, you're constantly hitting the apex. I say that as I miss it. Twice. But I am not concentrating while driving this. And it's fine. It's not going to spit me into a ditch. It's such an easy car to drive. I do like that a lot. It's very hard for a fast car to be easy to drive, but this manages it. Impressive considering this is now 55 years old. Oh god. Actually no, it's less than 55. Still, more than 50 years old. More than half a century. There are some brilliant shots of early GTs being tested. They usually tended to come out of the corner sideways and waggling, so let's see how that transfers into this one. And that's interestingly. Right, I've got a double handbrake in the corner, and there we go. Handbrake it in, and handbrake it through. I fucked this up. Look. There we go. You can get the handbrake on and the back end out fairly easily. Just don't actually double handbrake it. This technique only works for some cars, not this one. This one just tends to spin. And you've got to let it slide. So look, handbrake. Neutral steering. Okay. It's not bad. I've definitely driven worse. And you can get the back end out, which is good. So let's see how it fares home. We're taking the GT40 racing. I'm excited for this. I have driven this thing on the racetrack, fully tuned. I beat my time in a Vision GT. I beat the time I set in a Vision GT. So, let's see how it works stock. Come on, little GT40. Let's take you through the bends. Just look how easy it is to hug the apexes. I'm not concentrating while driving this, and yet I'm still going blisteringly quick. More power, come on. Try and get it flat through this turn. Oh dear. Can't take that turn flat though. 35.6. In a stock car that you can get for free. This one's definitely worth doing the barn hunt for. Well, I mean, all free cars are, but this one especially so. What a great car. I really do like this. It's pleasant to be in. It's good everywhere. And of course, have you ever met anyone that hated the GT40? Other than Enzo Ferrari, but I doubt any of you have met him. Well, thank you for watching. I've just realised something. GT40 Barn Hunt. Didn't CDT do that for their GT40? Not trying to imply anything. But, you know, it's just a bombshell, so we can end. Thank you for watching. I'm going to have some fun in this GT40. Well, I already am, to be honest. What a great car.